sides, and then we go straight down. So now I have my gown, my huck towel, and my steri strip that told me that it is sterile. Okay, so I'm gonna dry. So I'm gonna turn this way. Remember, we use one side of the towel, like what I call the top, for one hand and one arm. Okay, getting in between each finger very thoroughly, getting yourself nice and dry. Leaning forward as I go down my arm so the towel doesn't touch my scrubs. Remember, I can't go back up once I've reached down here, so you want to make sure you're thoroughly dry. But now my left side is done. It's going to grab the bottom of the towel, scoop it to the upright position so I can use the dry side to do my other hand and my other arm. Okay, so I am dry, so I just toss that to the ground. Now, when I'm gowning, my biggest recommendation to you is to pick up your whole gown and then turn to the side and let it unfold. Students in the past have tried to grab it by like the ties or just by the first fold, but as I unfold it, where are my arms going? Up and above my head, right? Is that in my sterile zone? No. So that's why I say grab the whole thing, turn to the side, and kind of use that first flap here as your handle. Let it unfold in front of you, okay? So I'm going to unwrap it here. So I see my sleeve holes, and I'm going to go Frankenstein, so I don't want to poke you, Evelyn. But I'm going to get my sleeves up here as much as I can. Okay, but I can't go any further, so that's where my non-sterile kind of steps in. Finding those neckties, remember they can grab the outer inch edge of the sterile field to manipulate it, but now I can finally relax my shoulders. Okay. So then Miss Ray's going to tie me in. Necktie usually goes first, and then side ties. Please practice your bows, because if you faint or pass out as a sterile assistant and I need to get you out of the gown, it's a lot easier to untie a bow than it is to cut the straps. Okay, so bow ties. And then also make sure that after you're done doing your side ties, that you kind of cover up your sterile's butt. So kind of grab that fabric and wrap it around as much as you can. Okay? Gloving process is next. So Miss Ray is going to show you how to peel and plop. She just opens up the top of the package and then just kind of flips it upside down, and it'll plop onto the middle. Make sure when you're doing that you maintain your 1 foot of a distance between your sterile field, okay, or for your sterile zone. So I usually go all the way up here. Miss Ray had that foot of a distance, so she's just fine. Can I sneak through here just so I can face that way? Feel free to come around if you guys want to, because this is our gloving portion now. Okay, so I'm using my mittens, right? When I put my gown on, my hands are still in my sleeves. This is the key to close gloving. So I have to use my mittens to open up my glove package. But I am completely sterile right now, so I can rub my sleeves all over this, get it nice and flat. I can even touch the gloves because, again, my sleeves are sterile. Flatten it out for yourself, okay? Now you guys saw the video that I showed you yesterday. I do things a little bit different than she does. So what I look for is that there's always going to be some form of text on the glove telling you which side it is and also the size, okay? So when you just see it inside of a pack, and I usually glove my dominant hand first, so I'm right-handed, I make sure that the print on the glove is against the palm of my hand, okay? And then also the fingers need to be pointing towards you for proper orientation, okay? So print on the palm, fingers towards you. Then you're going to open up the bottom, okay, get yourself your little hole, and I'm just going to kind of take the end of my sleeve and shove it in there, okay, because you want to make sure you have good closed gloving technique where my fingers don't leave the sleeves. So open it up and just literally shove your hand in there, okay? It doesn't look pretty. This is the baseball stage, but remember, for greatest security, once I start to pull my sleeve, I need to get the cuff past my wrist, okay? So grabbing that cuff and moving it down will mean that my glove won't fly off my hand, okay? But I'm going to start a dance back and forth here between adjusting my glove and pulling my sleeve. You can see my fingers are starting to emerge, making sure everybody's getting to their proper spot. But I always go back and forth between my glove and my sleeve, because if you keep pulling here and don't get a result, you can actually rip the sleeve, and then we have to get you a whole new gown. Okay, so if you're not getting any success by pulling your sleeve, try pulling your glove down to get your fingers into place, and then I can adjust my cuff the rest of the way down to get myself comfortable. The key here, making sure the sleeve of your gown goes across your palm and also across the knuckles on the back of your hand. Don't have it go any lower than that, okay? So now I have fingers, so the other side is going to be easier, but the same principles apply. So I see the text of my glove here, okay, or the print of my glove. That's going to go against the palm of my hand, fingers pointing towards me. Open up the bottom, shove my sleeve in, pull the cuff past my wrist for great security, and then pull my sleeve while I adjust my glove to get my fingers into the proper place. The thumb's always the one that's left behind for me. Okay, so now all my fingers are in the right spot, so I just gotta get myself comfy, pulling that cuff down on my sleeve. But now I am gowned and gloved and ready to go. So a couple other things to talk to you guys about. Maneuvering into the surgical suite as a sterile. There's a lot of monitoring equipment, a lot of beeping that's going on. We're talking to each other, we're taking care of the patient. So remember to use our call out system when you maneuver into the surgical suite. So I would say sterile coming through. And then, I'm gonna sneak through here real quick. If I don't have anybody on the other side to grab the door for me, which you just kind of should assume that that's gonna happen because the patient's in there, right? We're taking care of them. So if I'm going in, okay, I'm gonna use my butt, okay? Push with your butt, so the door is open. Sterile coming in, so that way they know, and then I can use the back side to push the door open and maneuver my way inside, okay? The last thing I want to show you is the assisted gloving technique. So remember, that's only going to be used if a break in sterility happens throughout surgery. So if I have a tear in my glove or something like that, and I need to replace this one, that's where my non-sterile assistant comes in again, right? We have to remove the contaminated one to replace it with a new sterile one. So let's say my left hand is torn and punctured, okay? I'm gonna extend that out towards Miss Ray. She's gonna grab the bottom of my sleeve, and then we're gonna play tug of war here. So I get my sleeve back, she gets the glove, and I'm back to my mitten stage, okay? From here, we would pop another pair of gloves, and you can put both on if you want to, but I find that having two gloves on one side makes it really tight, so usually we just replace the one side, okay? Any questions I can answer for you guys? Better that you see it in person, hopefully. Okay, that is it. Have a lovely rest of your day.